I'd like to start this video out with a statement, and I mean it wholeheartedly. I am not an influencer. I don't mean that in like the sort of coy or self-depreciating way that people say it, when in reality they're just kind of looking for validation from other people that, oh no, totally, you're an influencer. I mean it in the most literal way possible. I didn't pick up a camera to sell anybody fucking vitamins or coursework or a workout plan or to sell you on really anything. I picked up a camera because 6-year-old me was handed one by my mother and it just stuck with me. I stayed with the camera because growing up a lot of things were really overwhelming for me and photography was my only way out of that. Really the only way that I knew how to make sense out of anything. I just knew that for like a split second I could control time. And it's a little corny to say, but I really don't know where my life would be without photography. But there's a big difference between artists that just create art and stay doing just art and those who can become a little bit more successful, and that's marketing. And so in this big, messed up, algorithmic world that we live in, it's very hard to be an artist without feeling like an influencer. I'm going to try and teach you how to not feel that way. Hi, my name is Jared Thomas Tapey. I'm a social documentary photographer and educator here in New York City. You're watching my YouTube channel. How you doing? Across my social medias, I've created 6 segments, all of which pertain to distinct aspects of photography. Crafting a photograph, life through the lens, marks of the maker, the creative connection, tools of the trade, and field notes. This lesson is from my segment, The Creative Connection. The series dedicated to taking artists from creativity to visibility. Now there's no problem with wanting your work to be seen once you get to a certain point. If you're just starting off, don't worry about that. Worry about your own voice first. But say you've gotten to that point. You want your work to start being seen because it feels like it's yours. I mean, you want it to matter. But if you want something that's going to exist outside of your hard drives, you've got to market yourself. Let me be the first to tell you that in today's world, your work is not going to speak for itself. But marketing yourself doesn't mean that you have to become an influencer. Instead, you got to learn how to communicate your value without compromising your voice. But the funny thing is that if you do it right, it'll actually deepen your work. I'm going to use an example here because it's about me. I'm not trying to sell a lifestyle. I'm definitely not selling aspiration, and I hope I'm not selling you inspiration. I know one thing for sure, I'm not trying to sell you some sort of fantasy that if you drink the same Cafe Bustelo that I do every morning and smoke every other hour, then you're gonna magically make better photographs. So what I want you to realize is that artists don't market their lives. There's nothing marketable about my shitty sleep schedule or my crippling anxiety that I have all the time. No, artists market their work. And to those that don't understand that difference, well, you'll find yourself slowly becoming something that you never really intended to be. Now, this isn't necessarily only your fault. The world that we live in today and social media really pushes this sort of agenda. Especially when you see the success of other online influencers. It starts whispering in your ear that you should share your breakfast. Maybe you should share what you're wearing today. Because we all just really care about that super indie band that you've been listening to, and maybe we think that we'll be more connected if we listen to the same music. And then suddenly you're curating an entire personality instead of cultivating your craft. A lot of the stigma behind the social media influencer realm as it pertains to art is a brand new ideology. All these famous artists that we talk about, even if it's not photographers, painters and filmmakers and sculptors, poets, writers, authors, any numerous amounts of mediums haven't really had to deal with this until recent history. It's just because of this algorithms shit that artists started to think about performance over craft. But artists shouldn't be building around performance. Should be building around perspective. The best part about making art is that you can center your work around curiosity and observation. And artists have this weird intrinsic need to understand something before doing it. And it's my opinion that I don't think that the way that we market ourselves should be any different. When I market myself, I don't show you what I'm eating for breakfast half the time because it's probably sad to look at. But the other half is why I make an image, what I'm drawn to, what I've learned, what I've noticed, and what I think matters. I just happen to think that my breakfast doesn't matter. Marketing as an artist should be like giving somebody a map to better understand your work. What it doesn't need to be is a highlight reel of your life. But hey, I get it. Most artists hate marketing. They think they've got to be charismatic and entertaining and always on. Yeah, and then they wonder why they're so exhausted. But here's the thing, so many people think about marketing like it's some sort of performance when it just doesn't have to be. Marketing is translation. You're taking something that's internal, that's messy or abstract, and you're turning that into something that people can understand. An influencer asks, do they like me? But an artist asks, do they understand me? Those two things are obviously not the same question, and only one of them leads to something meaningful. Now you may be thinking, well, how do I do that? That's a great question. I got an answer for you. Translation looks like this. Here's what I saw, here's what I felt, and here's why it mattered. That's it. No theatrics, no performance, just a simple 3-step approach to clarity. But there's one big caveat, and it's something that just about every photographer or artist out there struggles with. I'm gonna say the P word, perfection. Perfection is the most seductive illusion in the creative world. So it keeps work hidden, ideas unfinished, and artists silent. Influencers sell perfection, but artists, we live in a real fucked up cocktail of a process. We live in a state of mistakes and uncertainty. I mean, God forbid, in the middle of me recording this video, I can't stop but thinking that I'm doing everything wrong, right? I mean, it's just a bunch of moments of breakthroughs that seem semi-accidental. But your process is more valuable than perfection, because people don't connect to flawless work. They connect to growth and struggle and a sense of becoming something. That's why I've mentioned before that I don't think that I have everything figured out. And that's why I talk about why I choose a certain frame over another one, and about all of my mistakes so that you don't have to make the same mistakes, because they sucked. And I'm constantly talking about why I'm still learning and what I'm still learning. I don't know, I'm under the impression that craft is something that should be taught, not just hidden for yourself. And look, social media becomes a lot less frightening, I guess, when you stop treating it like a stage. Stages demand performance. Classrooms create value. That's why I treat all my platforms like a classroom. You know, it's not really a place to, at least for me, it's not a place to impress. It's more just like a space for me to get my thoughts out and to share a medium that I'm passionate about. It's kind of the whole reason why I created the YouTube in the first place, because I wanted to break things down and talk about it and actually have the breathing room to do so. And that's because art, as we know it, survives through education, not just entertainment. I think that's the big difference between influencers and artists. It's that influencers chase attention while artists try and cultivate understanding. And believe me, understanding lasts a whole lot longer than attention does. Here's one of the biggest misconceptions about social media that people have whenever they're starting off. Your following is not a community. An audience watches you. A community walks with you. Influencers collect followers. An artist's job is to build relationships. So here's a crazy idea. Instead of chasing numbers, actually talk to people. Respond and listen and engage. Because people don't follow artists just because they find them interesting. They support artists that they feel connected to. And that connection is everything. And I get it, it's real hard to make that distinguished change in today's modern world. The amount of story posts that get blasted onto my feed that say in all caps, "Big news tomorrow," or 10 spots left. It's all a performance. It's artificial urgency and manufactured excitement. And it works, but it also destroys trust. So personally, I'm just made a decision that I market with integrity or not at all. No gimmicks, no pretending, no manipulation. Because the moment that you manipulate your audience, you stop creating for them and start extracting from them. And artists, we don't survive off of extraction. We survive off of trust. But here's the funny thing, it's a little bit paradoxical that the moment that you stop acting like an influencer is the moment that people actually start listening to you. And that's because, myself included, people are exhausted. They're tired of the performance. They're tired of perfection. And above all else, they're tired of being constantly sold something. So when someone shows up honestly, it stands out. So many influencers sell you an identity. Take such and you'll be such and such. You know, dress like this and you'll be more popular, or take these supplements and you'll be jacked. But an artist's goal should be to share insight. So, to reiterate, your work's not going to speak for itself. And that's not because it isn't good, I'm not saying that, but because that's not how communication works in the 21st century. Your work needs a voice, not a performance or a brand. It needs you, the real you, the one who actually cares. So don't try and be an influencer. Be a translator, a teacher, be a voice. Because when your work is understood, it doesn't just get seen, it's remembered. Alrighty partners, that's going to be it for this video today. I hope that it was insightful, maybe a little bit educational onto the way that I think about marketing and the way that I think that more artists should think about marketing themselves. It doesn't need to be this big scary thing, and you don't need to change who you are entirely. Just be the real authentic you. People like that, usually. There's a coordinating Substack article that's been posted with this, so if you want if you want to read it instead of listening to me yap this whole time, you can go and read it. You can find me on Instagram at Jared Tapey. You can find me on TikTok at Jared Thomas Tapey _. You can find me on Substack at The Creative Connection. I don't really think there's anything else to say, but get out there and get shooting and keep moving forward. I'll catch you in the next one.